Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Insane Gorilla, and welcome back to Halo ODSD. Well, what if Deku was a hell jumper? And where we last left off, Buck introduced his daughter, Blake, from obviously Blake's from Ruby, but hey, details. Obviously, Blake got introduced, and Buck gave them both intel on on the place that they're going. And this place is called um it's called the can't think of the name now. Bugger. The name the planet of Calderis. I know I'm ripping off Warhammer. That's the only name that could come up on short notice. As they get all the information, Buck walks out saying, read the information, okay? And get to the fire of Earth, and she will take us all above planet, and we'll make a orbital drop behind enemy lines. Should be no biggie. This unit hasn't really worked together so very well, so throwing us all into the frying pan, well, it's either out of the pan into the fire, or into the fire into the pan. It just depends on how well the insurrection decides to treat us this week. As they look over the plan, and their plan is to capture a rogue-only officer going by the name of Major Rakton from Star Wars. Yes, I know, but hey, my what if? And the story is for this Rakton fella, is that he was a valued only officer, a very good one, good at his job, always kept himself on track, ruthless to a fault, but always made sure civilians were kept out of the firing line. But when he defected to the insurrection, all that changed. He's on calderis, making moves on the local population. And they all go on to the fire of Earth, and they leave for calderis. A few hours before they drop, Mute pulls out a picture out of his armor. The armor holds a man with white hair, a lady with green, two young children with white and green hair, and one with pure green. As he just says, hope you guys are alive out there somewhere. As Buck says, you heard the music, time to dance, everybody to your drop pots. In a few hours past, they will drop. But unfortunately, Mark 6 anti-aircraft gunners start opening up on them as soon as they leave, and the ones who manage to make it down to the ground end up being in the longest firefight of their lives. 5 hours have passed since they landed, and they were still under heavy fire, moving from place to place, cleaning out insurrection bunkers, and all the rest. It appears General Rakton was ready for them. Eventually, when they do make it off of their little kill boxes, they have to force themselves deeper inland, and it was not going well. The Fire of Earth did a few strafing runs to try and relieve the pressure, but nothing was working. The Mark V turrets were keeping the ship well out of its actual firing range. So the Ghost Division was taking heavy casualties. It got so bad that a Scorpion tank also turned up somewhere along the line. Mute and Blake had teams that managed to rendezvous. Izuku's team took heavy casualties, while Blake's team took a few. She says, "Come on, we need to make it deeper inland, take out those anti-aircraft guns." So they do. Along the way, they see a few more of their Marines taking fire. It turns out there was a submachine gun and a fully automatic machine gun nest, causing them quite a bit of trouble, and they were caught out in the open. And this is the team Buck was in, so he calls them over saying, "Take out that bunker so we can move up." As well, Veronica and a few other teams turn up to support Buck. As they say, "We've got a huge enemy presence on this planet. Thought Oni's intel was good, but apparently Rakton was ready for us. The Fire of Earth can't give us any more fire support until those anti-aircraft guns are gone. So for now, until we can take them out, we're on our own." As the firefight continues for another few minutes, as the bunker goes boom. So they walk in, run into the city, as they have to firefight themselves, go through firefights after firefight. The whole place was as one big war camp, and nobody could move 10 meters. Luckily, after a few hours of more heavy fighting, which spanned the entire city, they managed to find a place to lay low, to find General Rakton, the old metric tunnels, so they could move. Unfortunately, though, the insurrection also knew about these tunnels and were already inside, so firefights were taking place in tight corridors. Fortunately for Mute, his entire team was wiped out. He gave his own little goodbyes, and he said, "I'll take out as many people as I can to avenge you guys." As he, walks off, along with everybody else. Veronica, Buck, and Blake's teams all took heavy casualties. The 150 that left only 50 remained. Eventually they went through the tunnel system and went to another substation, only to open up on more insurrection forces. And unfortunately, half of Buck's team, along with Veronica's team, were killed in that lengthy engagement. So there's now 20 left. More firefights continued, but they were less hectic than the last. Seems like somebody was looking out for them. Or it's just that the insurrection got overconfident. And General Rakton was making slip-ups. But he never makes slip-ups, as this information passes through everybody else's, earpieces on the, visors. As Veronica pops up, saying, "This isn't like General Rakton. He doesn't let people get away scot-free like this. He usually crushes them with ruthless efficiency." And sorry about that. And he also doesn't let people get away with, get out of anywhere that he wants them to be. Not unless he has something else in store for us. So keep your eyes and ears open, boys and girls. As soon as Veronica says that, more pillboxes open up with automatic fire, and the 20 now gets cut down to 15. As well, Buck says, "Veronica, you had to open your mouth. Rakton's good. He's luring us constantly into a false state of security. From now on, we stick to alleyways." As Buck says over comms, which they didn't realise that Rakton had already tapped into, so he knew exactly what they were doing. As he shouts for Blake and Mute to take a team to try and flank the pillboxes, he'll take a team and try and flank the pillboxes on the other side. As they do that, Rakton had two groups of soldiers that are highly trained to ambush the ODSDs. Now, just to let you know, the Ghost Division was made out of the best, so before you guys ask why the hell they got cut down to 15, it's because if you ever played Star Wars The Old Republic on the laptop, the online version, and you play the Republic Trooper, you versus General Rakton. And he is good at what he does. I've died several times trying to complete several missions because of him. Anyway, after a few hours of fighting the insurrection forces, they eventually get rid of all the pillboxes and soldiers. Blake and Mute run across a group of individuals, civilians, who raise weapons, saying, "Don't come any closer." There's a boy with with blonde hair and a girl with black hair walk up to them, saying, Are you with Oni? Are you with UNSC?" Please, get us out of here. Rakton turned this whole planet into a literal war world. He's brainwashing and training hundreds of civilians. The ones who do not join him get shot. He's brainwashing civilians to create a massive army to fight the UNSC. Please, get us off this world. We don't want to stay here anymore. Calderis used to be one of the best worlds to live until Rakton turned up. He said he wasn't going to turn this place into a hellhole to live. We got lulled into a false sense of security. And he pulled the rug from under us. As well. Blake says to Mute, "What do you think we should do?" As he does hand signs saying, "We can't leave them here, or otherwise they're going to get killed. We can't call the fire of Earth in, or otherwise they'll get shot out of the sky." As Blake asks them their names, as the boy says, "My name's Luke Shelford. This is Linda Salford, my sister. We're only 15. Our parents were killed trying to keep Rakton's men away from us. There are a bunch of kids with us here as well. A few adults as well. All of us are either 15, most of us are 15, but there are some of us who are younger. Like 10 or 5, I think. Please, if you've got a ship, please get us out of here." As Blake says, "We got a ship. He can take you all out of here, but we need to disable the anti-aircraft guns, or otherwise our ship will literally be shot out of the sky." The anti-aircraft guns already forced her out of firing range, so she couldn't really give us any firing support that was effective. As Luke sort of says, "You're ODSDs. I recognise the armour. I wanted to be an ODST myself." As Luke just is giddy with joy as he asks what regiment they are in, as they say, "We're classified, so we're not allowed to tell you that. We're not allowed to tell civilians." As the two Shelford twins say, "Okay then, we'll go and gather up the rest. Come with us." As they walk them into a refugee hideout, as Luke Shelford says, "By the way, are your headphones on? Well, mics on?" As Blake nods yes, as he quickly shouts, "Turn them off quickly. Scramble them. Rakton's listening in to you guys." That's how he managed to track us down the first time. We were using short-range radios, and he tracked us all down. So now, we just have to hope and pray that the others are still alive. As Blake shouts down the radio telling Buck and Veronica and everybody to cut their transmissions, Rakton is listening in on all of their communications. That's why he's been able to find us and, well, pin us down constantly with machine gun fire. A few hours later, Buck and Veronica managed to somehow find their way to the refugee camp, as Mute and Blake salute as they say, Veronica, Buck, thanks to the Schulfer twins, they told us everything. Rakton has been listening into our communications. That's how he's been finding us. As Blake just says, so that's why he keeps on being one step ahead of us. He's been listening into our own communications and he learned our entire plan. Great. Instead of 20, we get cut down to 15. Now from 15 to 5. Rakton, that's how Rakton's been finding us constantly. I bet we can't even use short range radio messages. As the Schulver twins shake their heads saying no. As Blake says, Rakton used radio transmission waves, long and short, to track everybody on the planet. There are quite a few adults here, but there are quite a few young kids here as well. Some are 15, but others are 10 and 5. Some are even 4 to 3. Hell, there's also a toddler here as well. Abandoned by her parents. Somebody picked her up and said she was found abandoned by her parents, most probably either to get rid of Rakton's forces or something like that. This child has nothing. Sorry about that, guys. As Buck says, Jesus Christ, we need to find Rakton, and we need to find him now. We need to turn off those anti-aircraft guns so the Fire of Earth can land, send Pelicans, land, pick us all up, and these civilians, and get us out. As the Schulfer twins say, we have a rough idea where he is. He's been using a complex nearby as his main base of operations. He hasn't left it ever since. He moved in there a few days ago. Hang on, guys. Right, where was I? Oh yes. The Schulfer twins said that Rakton was using this place as his general headquarters ever since the ODSTs landed, and they believe that's where the anti-aircraft guns were also being controlled from. They couldn't really get too close to General Rakton's headquarters because it was armed to the teeth. Machine gun fire, rocket launchers, tanks, you name it, the works. As Veronica just sighs, saying, we can't just stay here, we need a plan, and we needed it like yesterday. The fire... Sorry guys. The Fire of Earth only has enough fuel to pick us up. Now when we destroy the anti-aircraft guns, or take them offline completely, that's when the spirit of the Fire of Earth could pick us all up with with Pelicans. But we don't have enough munitions to even take out the front door. This is where Mara Slowford speaks up, saying, well, you don't have to go through the front door. You could use the sewer systems. Sure, they're vile, but you guys have equipment that won't rust so much in that stuff. Sure, it's going to stink and you're going to stink, but it's better than going through the front door and getting mowed down. Trust us. We had to use a few sewer systems that were completely devoid of anything in there. It still stunk to high hell, but at least we were out of the way of Rakton. For some odd reason, he doesn't let his forces go down there. Something about the smell just knocks his troops unconscious. We don't know why. As Veronica gets an idea, saying, that's it. That's how we not get through some of the troops without raising any alarms. The smell. The smell must interfere with the brainwashing. Or something or other. Because the smell's so potent, it will drive anybody insane. Well, either insane because it stinks so much, or it'll just make them go unconscious because they can't put up with it. Perhaps that's how we free some of the populations. Because of the smell. The smell will kick in and take out the brainwashing. And that's how we get General Rakton. Is there any sewer system near the front gate? As the Sholford twins say no, but there is one directly underneath the barracks. That Rakton had, well, not realised there was, until he realised that some of his troops were unconscious. Then he moved his barracks to another place. He hasn't really sealed it, he just makes sure nobody goes there. But there are always 2 guards on lookout just in case. We managed to find that out from the top of a skyscraper with a pair of binoculars. But you should be able to get in there and out without anybody noticing. Hopefully. As the remaining ODSD walks up, saying, that could be a good opportunity, but what happens if it doesn't work? And it turns out Rakton was completely aware of that sewer system and had guards looking over it 24 hours a day. As the chauffeur twins and everybody else say that's a good point, we need to come up with a new plan. As Blake says, we don't have weeks to scout. We need to get in there now. But we can't risk all of our lives together. We need to cause one major distraction. As Luke Shoford says, why don't you blow up the nearby refinery? It's old and abandoned, but Rakton keeps some forces around there for training. Why not blow the whole entire thing up while people are there? As Veronica says, that's a good idea, but no. We'll go through the sewer system. As they do so, now General Rakton is waiting in his command office. A few hours later, he orders some troops to find out where the local enemies are, aka the ODSDs. And when none of them report saying they can't find them, Rakton says, alright, everybody pull back to defensive positions. They're going to make a play, and I want to be extra sure that they're not going to survive it. So make sure all places are on high alert, including the place with the sewer system. As he gets a report saying, yes sir. As there's a knock on the door. As he says, come in, as 5 ODSDs burst in, saying, surprise General Rakton, but you weren't expecting us to already be in your facility. You should have really made relatively sure that the smell couldn't pass through anywhere. As he looks behind him, as all of his troops are unconscious due to the smell. As he just says, very well, I surrender. As he surrenders his guns, everything, they've had him down. As they take him, destroy all the controls, operate the anti-aircraft guns, which makes them shut down. And yeah, they find out that the entire planet was made from a vibrant world into a hellish landscape due to him and his insurrection forces. The fire of Earth, makes landfall as well, sending pelicans to pick up the civilians and to pick up the ODSDs. And this is where General Rakton also says, "You know the resistance will not let me go easily. You may take me to an interrogation room, but my friends will find me, and they will rescue me." This bug just says, "Oh, can somebody shut him up?" As he gets knocked out. As the Fire of Earth heads back to your planet, and it's loyal to the UNSC, and then heads, surprise, surprise, straight to Earth. And this is where I'm leaving off, guys. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe. And sorry for all the distractions, but see you in the next one.